Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're a coin collector or just curious about the value of your pocket change, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of rare Lincoln pennies, and some of these coins can be worth thousands, even millions. Stick around as we explore their history and value. These pennies could make you richer than you think. The 1972 Lincoln Penny. This coin is especially interesting because it was struck in Philadelphia and, like many coins from that time, it doesn't have a mint mark. Now, you might be wondering, why does the mint mark even matter? That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked. In most cases, the mint mark on a coin tells us where it was made. For example, the letter D represents the Denver Mint, and the letter S represents the San Francisco Mint. But in 1972, the Philadelphia Mint chose not to include a mint mark on the penny they struck. And this small detail is a big deal for collectors. The absence of the mint mark is part of what makes this particular penny so special. See, the Philadelphia Mint usually didn't mark their coins with a mint mark, so the absence itself wasn't an error, but it was definitely rare. Over the years, collectors have come to recognize that certain coins without mint marks, especially in specific years, are rarer than others, and rarity often leads to higher value. Now, here's where it gets even more exciting. A 1972 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is highly sought after by collectors. But it's not just the lack of the mint mark that makes it special. When it comes to the value of this penny, it's all about condition. If you happen to find a 1972 penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, you're looking at a coin that could be worth upwards of $47,020. That's right, more than $47,000 for a penny. Imagine finding one of these in your spare change or coin jar. It's the kind of discovery that turns your world upside down. But how does such a small, seemingly insignificant coin rise to such incredible value? It's all about the rarity, the condition, and the demand among collectors. This penny wasn't made in a limited quantity, but the lack of a mint mark combined with high-quality examples still circulating from that year has made it one of the most valuable coins to find. The fact that most people overlook pennies every day just makes the find all the more astonishing. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins like these, and the value of rare coins can fluctuate depending on market trends and interest in specific series. But in general, a 1972 Lincoln penny in excellent condition is one that many would consider a gem in their collection. As a reminder, the key to determining the value of any rare coin lies in its condition. Coins that have been well preserved, showing minimal signs of wear and tear, will fetch the highest prices. So, if you're lucky enough to have a 1972 penny that's still in great shape, you could very well be sitting on a small fortune. It's crazy to think how something that costs just 1 cent can be worth over $47,000, but that's the magic of coin collecting. And who knows, maybe that jar of pennies you've been meaning to sort through has a hidden treasure waiting for you. So, the next time you come across a 1972 penny, make sure to take a closer look. Let's shift gears and talk about another fascinating penny, the 1983 Lincoln Penny. Now, you might be thinking, 1983? That's not exactly ancient history. You're right, it's a relatively recent coin compared to the ones we've been talking about. But don't let that fool you, this penny can be worth a lot more than you might expect. The key to its value lies in a unique and rare feature that sets it apart from the rest. In 1983, the U.S. Mint began transitioning from copper to a zinc composition for pennies. This change was part of an effort to reduce the cost of producing coins. But here's the thing, some of the pennies that were supposed to be made with zinc ended up being struck with copper instead. Now, this wasn't a widespread mistake, just a small percentage of the 1983 pennies were actually made from copper. But those few copper pennies are incredibly valuable today. Why? Well, the transition from copper to zinc happened gradually, and the copper 1983 pennies are so rare that they've become highly collectible. As a result, they're worth much more than the typical 1-cent coin. If you happen to find one of these copper 1983 pennies, you could be looking at a value of up to $15,000. That's a massive jump from its original value of just 1 cent. So, why are these pennies worth so much? The reason lies in the fact that only a limited number of copper pennies were accidentally struck in 1983. While most pennies produced that year were made from the intended zinc, the copper versions are rare and in high demand among collectors. When you combine rarity with demand, you've got the perfect recipe for a valuable coin. If you're wondering how to identify whether you have a copper 1983 penny, it's all about the weight. A copper penny weighs about 3.11 grams, while a zinc penny weighs just 2.5 grams. So, if you come across a 1983 penny and it feels heavier than the standard zinc version, you might just have one of those rare copper pennies. The key here is to check the weight before jumping to conclusions, because there are a lot of counterfeit and altered pennies out there as well. Authentic copper 1983 pennies are scarce, so finding one is like striking gold in the world of coin collecting. As with any rare coin, the condition plays a huge role in its value. A copper 1983 penny that's in excellent, uncirculated condition can fetch much more than one that's worn or damaged. Collectors are always on the lookout for high-quality examples, and that's what drives the price up. In the end, the 1983 copper penny is a perfect example of how small variations in coin production can lead to huge value differences. While most of us wouldn't think twice about a penny from the 1980s, coin collectors know that even modern pennies can hide valuable treasures. So, the next time you're sorting through your change, keep an eye out for that rare copper 1983 penny. You might just find yourself holding onto a coin worth thousands. Let's fast forward a bit to 1984, and here's another Lincoln penny that could be hiding a small fortune. This one is the 1984 Lincoln penny. Now, this penny might seem pretty ordinary at first glance, but it's actually considered a hidden gem by collectors. What makes it so valuable? Well, it's all about a very distinct error that occurred during production. Some of the 1984 pennies were struck with a double die, and no, that's not a typo. A double die is an error where the design on the coin is stamped more than once, causing the images and lettering to appear doubled. This can happen if the die used to strike the coin shifts slightly during the minting process, leading to a noticeable doubling of the features on the coin. When this happens, it's considered a significant error, and double die coins are highly prized by collectors. So, what does this mean for the 1984 Lincoln penny? Well, these pennies are harder to find than regular ones, and those that have the double die error in mint condition can be worth a lot of money. We're talking anywhere from $45,000 to $91,000 for a well-preserved coin. Imagine the excitement if you were to find one of these in your pocket change. It's the kind of discovery that can completely change your perspective on how much value is hiding in your spare change. While not all 1984 pennies are double die errors, the ones that are can fetch a pretty penny, pun intended, in the right market. Now, how can you tell if you've got one of these rare double die 1984 pennies? The easiest place to start is by checking for signs of doubling, especially on Lincoln's face and the letters around the edge of the coin. You'll notice that the features, like the details of Lincoln's cheek and the date, might appear to be slightly doubled or blurred, giving them a ghostly effect. It's especially noticeable when you look closely at the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust and the date itself. But it's not just about spotting the error, the condition of the coin plays a huge role in its value. If the penny is in mint, uncirculated condition, it's going to be worth a lot more than one that's been heavily worn or scratched. As with most collectible coins, high-quality examples are the most valuable, and coin collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. If you happen to find a 1984 penny with that double die error, don't just toss it aside or assume it's nothing special. Take a closer look, and if you think you've got something rare, it could be worth having it appraised by a professional. After all, a well-preserved 1984 double die penny could make you a lot more than just a few cents richer. So, keep your eyes peeled, because you never know what treasures you might come across in your spare change. But wait, there's more. Let's talk about one of the rarest and most exciting pennies out there, the 1988 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. Now, at first glance, this might seem like just another penny from the late 80s, but trust me, this one is far from ordinary. The 1988 penny is particularly special because it was struck in Philadelphia, but unlike most other pennies from the time, it was never given the typical peak mint mark to indicate where it was made. At first, you might think, why does the absence of a mint mark matter? Well, the mint mark is typically a small letter on coins that shows which mint produced them, whether it's D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or P for Philadelphia. But in 1988, something very unusual happened. A small number of pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint without the P mint mark, and these coins have become incredibly rare. So, why is this penny so valuable? The rarity of the 1988 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is what makes it so special. There are very few of these coins in circulation today, and the fact that they were produced in Philadelphia without the usual mint mark means that they stand out from the rest. Collectors love a rare find, and the demand for these mint markless 1988 pennies is huge. Now, here's the crazy part: if you manage to find one of these rare 1988 pennies, you could be looking at a coin worth up to a staggering $1 million. That's right, this small, seemingly insignificant penny could land you a cool million if you're lucky enough to stumble upon one. The scarcity of these coins, combined with the high demand in the collector's market, has pushed their value to astronomical heights. It's important to understand that not every 1988 penny is worth this much. It's specifically those without the mint mark that are the real treasure. So, if you have any pennies from 1988, take a closer look. You never know, you might be holding on to a coin that could be worth a fortune. The reason behind such a high value is not just the rarity of the coin but also the way collectors see it as a piece of U.S. minting history. A coin that was struck at one of the most prolific mints in the country, yet was never marked with its location, makes it all the more intriguing. This curiosity and rarity make it highly desirable in the world of coin collecting. So, if you're ever sorting through your change or rummaging through old coin collections, make sure to check for that 1988 penny without a mint mark. If you find one in good condition, you could be looking at a collector's dream and, potentially, a seven-figure payday. It just goes to show that even the smallest, most unassuming coins can hold incredible value. Now, let's take a look at the 1991 Lincoln penny without a mint mark. While it might not have the jaw-dropping value of the 1988 penny we just talked about, it still holds a special place in the world of rare coins and is highly sought after by collectors. So, what makes this penny stand out? Just like the 1988 penny, the 1991 Lincoln penny without a mint mark was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, but this time, it didn't receive the usual P mint mark to show where it was made. The absence of the mint mark may seem like a small detail, but in the world of coin collecting, small details can make all the difference. The fact that this penny wasn't marked makes it rare and adds to its collector value. Now, you might be thinking, how much could a 1991 penny without a mint mark really be worth? Well, while it's not going to make you a millionaire like some of the other pennies we've talked about, it's still worth quite a bit more than its face value. In fact, the last time one of these pennies sold, it fetched a surprising $1,116. That's a solid return on something that originally only cost you 1 cent. It's a great example of how even small, seemingly insignificant coins can become valuable over time due to rarity and collector demand. So, why are collectors so interested in the 1991 penny without a mint mark? It all comes down to rarity. While there were many pennies minted in 1991, the ones without the mint mark are much harder to come by. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for unique errors and unusual variations, and this one certainly fits the bill. Plus, as time goes on, the number of these coins still in circulation diminishes, making them more valuable as they become harder to find. If you happen to come across a 1991 Lincoln penny, it's worth taking a closer look to see if it's missing that mint mark. If it is, and it's in good condition, you could have a rare find on your hands. It may not be worth $1 million, but $1,116 for a penny is nothing to scoff at. As with any rare coin, the condition is key. The better the condition, the higher the value. Pennies that have been well preserved, with minimal wear and no major scratches or damage, will be worth more than those that have seen better days. So, if you do find one of these rare 1991 pennies, make sure to keep it in the best possible condition to maximize its value. In the end, the 1991 Lincoln penny without a mint mark is another great example of how a seemingly small error in the minting process can lead to a coin becoming a prized collectible. While it might not fetch the same astronomical prices as other rare pennies, it's still a valuable piece of U.S. coin history, and one that could put a little extra change in your pocket if you happen to find one. Let's move on to 1993, where we find another rare and valuable penny, the 1993 Lincoln penny. While this one might not be quite as famous as some of the others we've discussed, it's still a coin that's highly sought after by collectors, especially when found in pristine condition. So, what makes the 1993 penny so special? The 1993 penny, struck at the Denver Mint, is not necessarily rare in terms of how many were made. However, what makes it valuable is its condition and, in some cases, potential errors. While most pennies from this year can still be found in circulation without much trouble, the ones that are in mint condition, specifically those that are uncirculated, are much harder to come by. Uncirculated coins are those that have never been used in daily transactions, meaning they're free from the typical wear and tear that most coins experience over time. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1993 penny in uncirculated condition, you could be looking at a coin worth around $4,250. That's a pretty significant jump from its original value of just 1 cent. Of course, the value of any rare coin depends heavily on its condition, so if you happen to find a 1993 penny that's been well preserved, you could be holding on to something quite valuable. But the value doesn't stop there. If the penny has any errors, it could be worth even more. For example, some 1993 pennies were struck with slight design flaws or other minting errors that make them even rarer. Coins with errors are especially valuable because they're not just rare, they're unique. Collectors are always on the lookout for these types of coins because they stand out in a way that regular, error-free coins don't. So, if you find a 1993 penny with any kind of noticeable error, it could be worth even more than the typical $4,250 price tag. It's also worth noting that the condition and demand for coins like the 1993 penny can fluctuate over time. The value of rare coins can change based on collector interest, the number of coins still in circulation, and other market factors. So while $4,250 might be the going rate today, that price could increase or decrease in the future as more collectors become interested in these types of coins. If you're wondering how to identify an uncirculated 1993 penny, it's all about the details. Uncirculated coins will have sharp, clear features without any wear on the raised parts of the coin. The image of Lincoln should be crisp, and the lettering around the edge should be well defined. If the penny looks worn, scratched, or dull, it's likely not worth nearly as much. In the end, the 1993 penny is another great example of how condition and rarity can make a coin worth much more than you might expect. So, if you ever come across one in great shape, make sure to give it a close look. You might just have a hidden treasure on your hands. Let's take a look at the 1998 Lincoln penny, another coin that has caught the eye of collectors, especially when it comes to those in top condition. At first glance, you might not think this penny is particularly rare, but don't let that fool you. The 1998 penny can actually fetch a pretty impressive amount, especially when found in high-grade, uncirculated condition. In fact, these pennies can bring in around $5,800 in the right market. That's quite a jump from their original 1 cent value, and it's all about their condition and rarity in certain grades. The 1998 penny, struck at the Denver Mint, wasn't expected to be a coin that would become highly valuable. At the time of its release, it was just another penny in circulation, and people probably didn't think much of it. But as the years have passed, coin collectors have become increasingly interested in the 1998 penny, particularly those that are in excellent, well-preserved condition. What makes these pennies stand out? Well, the ones that are in top condition, meaning they show minimal signs of wear and have clear, sharp details, are the ones that fetch the highest prices. The sharpness of the design, the crispness of the features, and the clarity of the date and inscriptions all make these coins particularly attractive to collectors. The reason behind the value of these well-preserved pennies is that they've become increasingly harder to find in such great condition. As time goes on, more and more pennies get circulated, worn down, or damaged. Coins that have stayed in mint condition are rare, and as collectors continue to seek them out, the demand for high-grade 1998 pennies has driven up their value. So, what kind of condition are we talking about when it comes to these valuable pennies? A coin that's considered to be in top condition will show no signs of wear on the raised areas of the design. The image of Lincoln should appear crisp and clear, with no fading or distortion. The lettering, such as Liberty and In God We Trust, should be sharp and well-defined, not worn down or blurry. The coin should look almost as if it just came out of the mint, with no significant scratches, dings, or discoloration. If you happen to come across a 1998 penny in great shape, it's worth taking a closer look and potentially having it appraised. In top condition, these pennies can sell for as much as $5,800, which is a far cry from their original value of just 1 cent. And while it may not be as rare as some other coins we've discussed, the 1998 penny's value shows that, even for relatively modern coins, condition can make all the difference. In the world of coin collecting, there's always the potential for surprises. The 1998 penny might seem like just another modern coin, but for those who know what to look for, it can be a hidden treasure. So, keep an eye on your change, because you never know when you might come across one of these high-value pennies. Now, let's talk about the 1999 Lincoln Memorial Cent. You might not think of this penny as one of the most famous coins, but believe it or not, this little coin can actually be worth quite a bit. In fact, if you happen to find one in excellent condition, it can fetch around $4,500. That's a huge increase from its original value of just 1 cent. So, what makes the 1999 penny so special? The 1999 Lincoln Memorial Cent was struck at the Denver Mint, just like other pennies with the D Mint mark. But it's the condition and rarity of certain 1999 pennies that has pushed their value up. Most of these pennies are relatively easy to find, but the ones that are in top condition are much harder to come by, which is what makes them so valuable. You see, coin collectors are always on the lookout for coins that have been well preserved and show little to no wear. When a penny is circulated in your pocket or purse, it gets scuffed, scratched, and worn down, which makes it less valuable. But in the case of the 1999 penny, those that remain in mint, uncirculated condition are much rarer and more desirable to collectors. What does top condition look like for a 1999 penny? For starters, the coin should have a sharp, clear design. Lincoln's image should be crisp, and the lettering, such as Liberty and In God We Trust, should be well defined without any wear or fading. The raised areas of the coin, such as the details of Lincoln's bust, should have little to no signs of damage. In essence, the coin should look like it just came off the press at the mint. Another factor that adds to the 1999 penny's value is the overall demand for well-preserved, high-grade coins from the late 20th century. As coin collectors continue to focus on collecting coins from specific years or mint marks, the 1999 penny has gained attention for its rarity in top condition. Even though the mint produced a large number of these coins, those that have been well preserved are few and far between. So, how can you tell if you have one of these valuable 1999 pennies? The best thing to do is to examine the condition of the coin closely. If it's still in great shape, with sharp details and no visible wear, then you've got something that could be worth a significant amount. Keep in mind that the condition is key when it comes to determining the value of a coin, so if the 1999 penny has been well kept, it could be worth up to $4,500. The 1999 Lincoln Memorial Cent is a great example of how even modern pennies can become valuable treasures. It might not be as rare as some of the other coins we've discussed, but its value is a testament to the importance of condition in the world of coin collecting. So, the next time you go through your spare change, keep an eye out for a 1999 D penny in excellent condition. You could be holding onto a coin worth much more than its face value. Finally, let's wrap up with two more notable pennies, the 2000 D Lincoln Penny, which can be worth up to $4,700 if found in uncirculated condition. At first glance, the 2000 D penny might seem like just another modern coin, but it has actually become a highly sought-after item among collectors. So, what makes this particular penny so valuable? The 2000 D penny was struck at the Denver Mint, just like other pennies with the D Mint mark. But the value comes into play when the coin is found in pristine, uncirculated condition. Uncirculated coins are those that have never been used in daily transactions. They haven't been exposed to wear, scratches, or discoloration, and they look nearly as fresh as the day they were minted. This makes them significantly rarer than pennies that have been circulated for years, and it's one of the reasons why the 2000 D penny can bring in such a high value. If you happen to come across a 2000 D penny that looks flawless, sharp, clear details with no signs of wear or damage, you could be holding a coin that's worth up to $4,700. That's a pretty impressive return on a coin that originally cost just 1 cent. Keep in mind, the value of these pennies depends heavily on their condition. The better the condition, the more money you could potentially make. A penny with visible scratches, discoloration, or other signs of wear won't come close to fetching this kind of price. So, what makes the 2000 D penny so special? It's all about the fact that it was part of a large series of coins minted during the late 20th and early 21st centuries. The 2000 D penny wasn't expected to be particularly rare at the time, but as collectors' interest in well-preserved coins has grown, so has the value of those pennies that have remained in top condition. This penny, like many other coins, has also benefited from increased demand for well-preserved U.S. currency. With the rise of numismatics, coin collecting as a hobby, coins from specific years and mint marks have become more desirable. For example, collectors are often focused on finding coins from the early 2000s in uncirculated condition because they're harder to come by, as many of these coins were circulated quickly after they were minted. This scarcity is what pushes the value of the 2000 D penny higher. If you're looking to spot one of these valuable pennies, pay close attention to its condition. Uncirculated coins will have sharp, well-defined features with no signs of wear on the raised areas. If the penny looks like it's never been touched by human hands, you could have a gem on your hands that's worth thousands. To sum it up, the 2000 D penny is a perfect example of how condition can greatly impact a coin's value. While these pennies might not have been particularly rare when they were minted, the ones that have stayed in perfect condition have become highly desirable in the world of coin collecting. Let's finish up by talking about the 2007 Lincoln Memorial Penny, which might surprise you with its value. While it's a more recent coin, it can be worth around $1,700 if found in excellent condition. You may be wondering, why would a 2007 penny be so valuable? After all, it's not exactly ancient history. But like many of the other coins we've discussed, the key factor here is its condition, rarity, and the demand from collectors. So, why has the 2007 Lincoln Memorial Penny garnered so much attention? The answer lies in the coin's unique position in the history of U.S. pennies. The 2007 penny marked the final year of the Lincoln Memorial design, which had been in circulation since 1959. In 2009, the U.S. Mint started issuing the new Lincoln Bicentennial Series to celebrate the 200th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. This made the 2007 penny significant because it represents the last year of the traditional Lincoln Memorial design before the Mint switched to a new look. Now, as for why it could be worth around $1,700, it all comes down to the condition of the coin. Most pennies, especially those that have been circulating for years, show wear and tear. They're scuffed, scratched, and faded, making them worth only their face value or maybe a little more if they're in decent condition. But for coins like the 2007 Lincoln Memorial Penny, which are found in uncirculated, pristine condition, their value can increase significantly. It's this high-grade, well-preserved state that makes them rare and valuable. Just like with the other pennies we've discussed, the better the condition, the higher the value. A 2007 penny in excellent, uncirculated condition will have sharp details, crisp features, and no signs of wear on the design. The image of Abraham Lincoln should be clear and sharp, with no fading or distortion. The lettering around the edge should be well defined, and the surface of the coin should be free from scratches, stains, or discoloration. The high demand for coins like the 2007 Lincoln Memorial Penny is also a contributing factor to its value. As coin collectors search for specific years, mint marks, or designs to complete their collections, they place greater value on coins that are rare or in perfect condition. Over time, as the number of uncirculated 2007 pennies continues to dwindle, their value will likely rise due to scarcity and collector interest. So, how can you spot a 2007 Lincoln Memorial penny worth $1,700? The key is to look for one in mint condition. If you come across a 2007 penny that's been well preserved, free from any major damage, and looks almost as fresh as the day it was minted, it could very well be worth a lot more than its 1 cent face value. So, what do you think? Those pennies you thought were just pocket change could be worth far more than you ever imagined. From rare mint errors to the scarcity of certain years, the world of coin collecting is filled with incredible treasures hiding in plain sight. So, the next time you're digging around in your change jar, take a closer look. You might just have a small fortune sitting right under your nose. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more coin history, and leave a comment letting us know which rare penny you'd love to find. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.